Hey guys, as I was editing this video, I went to go build my recipes in the Weight Watchers app. Every time I would get through, it was so frustrating to add in the ingredients, and then would get all the way to the end. Finally, when the ingredients would finally add, I would hit create recipe, and then it kept saying, check your connection, check your connection. My internet is fine. I even did it on my data on my phone, turned off my wireless. It would not work. It just kept saying that. It was getting so frustrating. So I deleted the app, tried to reinstall it. It will not reinstall. It keeps stopping halfway and it just stops. So I'm going to keep trying, and maybe by the time I get, if I don't put this little clip in, that means it worked. But if you're seeing me right now, that means the app is still not working. So hopefully I can get it to work throughout the week, and I can let you know what the points and carbs and all that was for this recipe. I can build it in my Lose It app and at least get the carbs and protein and all that. So I may do that. So if you don't see Weight Watcher points, that is why. But I'm doing my best, and I can probably maybe figure out the Weight Watcher points on a couple of the things, but I just don't know for sure. So anyway, hopefully I get it working. First up is going to be a vegetable beef soup. So we need some ground beef. I'm using this 93% lean. I'm going to add in some of this Knorr vegetable dip, some mixed veggies, 1 packet of the beefy onion recipe secrets. We have beef broth, diced potatoes and diced tomatoes, and tomato sauce and some diced onions. I may have already said that. First thing we're going to do is ground up the ground beef. Now, I saw this recipe on TikTok, so it's a completely different one than I have ever made before. And in that recipe, she added the Knorr vegetable dip, which I could not find it at 2 of my stores. And you guys know I love this stuff. I make dip out of it all the time out of Greek yogurt. So I did have a half a packet from the last time I made some dip. So I just have a half a packet, but in her recipe, she did use a full packet. And also I think she had used the onion soup mix from Lipton, but I personally love the beefy onion. I use the beefy onion in my stews and meatloaf and meatballs, those kind of things when I make those for my husband. They are so good. So like I said, I just have a half a packet. If you've never tried this Knorr vegetable dip, it is so good. Like I said, put it in your Greek yogurt sour cream. If you guys have been watching me for any amount of time, you know I've been using this for probably 7 or 8 years. Like, I love this stuff. And then, like I said, this beefy onion is also really great to put in any of your beef recipes. I make my husband a homemade Salisbury steak. I put this in there. I put it in his meatloaf I make for him. I also put it into the beef stew that I make for him as well. Like, it is so good. It is definitely a little secret secret thing to put into your recipes. So we're just going to ground this up, brown it up. It's already ground up. We're going to brown this up. I also put some onions in there. As you saw, frozen onions are like my hack because I hate cutting up onions. So we're just going to get that all browned up. Once it's browned up, I'm going to go ahead and add in the mixed vegetables. I always like to kind of heat up my mixed vegetables a little bit. That way, especially if they're frozen, that way it kind of gets the chill off of them and doesn't really cool down the whole dish, very much. And I also like to get a little bit of a kind of flavor added onto the vegetables. Otherwise, they just kind of sit in the broth. So that's just kind of another little hack that I do. Now we have the diced up canned potatoes. I did rinse these. They have quite a bit of starch on them in the can. And only reason why I use these versus buying regular potatoes is that they're perfectly diced. They are literally just diced potatoes in water. So there's nothing wrong with them. And like I said, I rinse them off really, really well. And that kind of gets all the extra sodium and the extra starch off of them. And just because we're low carb doesn't mean we can't have a little bit of potato. Now, it might not work well for you, but this whole meal is going to be pretty low carb. We're going to add in our can of tomato sauce and our can of petite diced tomatoes. I did, when I ordered these on my grocery pickup order, I did ask for no salt added. I did not get no salt added on either one of these, but that's okay. I mean, I did do a grocery pickup, so I can't really complain about not going in and getting it myself. But that's okay. We'll be okay with this. And then I added in the beef broth. Now I'm just going to stir this up, and we're going to bring this to a boil, and it's that easy. Now I know there's a lot of canned stuff in here, but you guys know I work about 40, 50 hours a week outside of my YouTube kind of quote hobby, so it just makes it easy. So we're going to bring this to a boil, put the lid on it, and just let it simmer for about an hour, just until the potatoes are cooked through. And let me show you what, I had this for dinner tonight, so let me go ahead and show you what that looked like all served up. The next thing we're going to prep is going to be some salsa chicken. Literally so easy. We have some salsa, some taco seasoning, some chicken thighs. I know I need to make my own taco seasoning. I love making my own taco seasoning, and that's what I prefer. I just have not had a chance to do it. It's just one of those things. I got to get all the ingredients, put it together, and I just have not really had the motivation to do a lot of cooking lately, you guys. This, I don't know. You know, sometimes where you just spend your whole entire married life as a mother, you just spend so much time cooking all the time, and now that my kids are grown and moved out of the house and it's just me and my husband, I just have little desire to cook anymore. But anyhow, so easy, you guys. Just sprinkle the taco seasoning on top of the chicken, add in that whole thing of salsa. We're going to cook this on high for about 4 hours, shred it up, and this will be great for different recipes throughout the week. And here it is all done. I will use these for taco salads, taco bowls. I also have some tortillas left over from last week, so I can do some tacos in a low-carb tortilla. Anything. This is so simple. Next up, we're going to make some chicken parmesan meatballs. I've not made these in so long, and they are so good. So we have some ground chicken here from Walmart. This is 96% lean. We have some Worcestershire sauce. We have some panko pork rind crumbs, Parmesan Romano, grated cheese, some mozzarella cheese. We have some marinara sauce from Costco, an egg, and then those are the seasonings I'm using. That is the olio, I don't know, from Trader Joe's. Just sounded good. Also, it's like a garlicky kind of spicy seasoning, and then also some onion powder. So we have our ground chicken here. We have 1 egg we're going to put in there. I'm putting a half of a cup of the pork rinds, the panko crumbs, pork rinds. Then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of the Romano and Parmesan cheese. And we are going to add in some Worcestershire, whatever. I think it's supposed to be a tablespoon, but this is just all I had left. So that's what we're putting in. I will have the original recipe linked down below. I've used this recipe for many years. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle this in here. And then the original recipe does call for Italian seasoning, so you're going to see here in a second that I decided to go ahead and go grab it because I looked at the ingredients on this. For some reason, I was thinking that this olio, I have no idea how you say that. For some reason, I was thinking it had more Italian type vibes to it, but you can see here, it really doesn't. So I went ahead and grabbed my Italian seasoning, my Italian seasoning I just ran out the other day, so I bought a refill. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss some of that in there because it just feels like it needs to have Italian seasoning in there as well. And then we are going to go ahead and mix this up really well. And I'm just going to use my scooper here. Now, the original recipe calls for you to cook these on a baking sheet first. Take them out, then put them in a casserole dish with your marinara sauce. We're not going to dirty up more than one dish for this. No way. Now, I'm just using this scoop. And plus, this ground chicken does not have very much fat. Like, it is 96% lean, and when you cook it, there's hardly any fat in the bottom, and that could be the reason why she has you cook it on a separate pan first and then put it in here, because maybe the fat. I don't know, but for me, this is not very fatty, and like I said, we're not going to dirty up 2 dishes. So I'm just using this scoop to go ahead and get the same amount for each ball. Now, it says to make 18 balls, but I'm going to only do 9 because you know what? It's the same thing. So I just figured it's just a lot easier just to scoop out 9 equal ones. And that's what size my ice cream scoop thingy is. So I went ahead and just formed those up so they would not fall apart. Now this is going to go into a 375-degree oven for 20 minutes to start the cooking process. Now these have come out of the oven. They've cooked for 20 minutes. Now they are definitely not cooked through all the way, so we're going to add on this jar of marinara sauce, which I found this at Costco. The macros on this are about the same as the Rayo's, but it's so much cheaper. But it only has 6 grams of carbs, and it smelled absolutely amazing. Like, I am so excited I found this. You got 3 jars of this for like $9.99 at Costco. so much cheaper than those jars of Rayo's that is like $10.99 for one. And that's actually on sale price. Now, shredded up 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and toss that on top. You guys, I am loving the shredding my own cheese thing. I feel like the cheese melts so much better. I know it's better for you, and I feel like I'm not spending as much money because I am not using as much, and it's just working out so well. So we're going to go ahead and put some foil on top of this and put it back in the oven at 375 for 20 more minutes, and that way our meatballs all cooked through, the cheese is all melty. And you guys, let me go ahead and show you what this looked like when it came out of the oven. And here you go. Now what I'll typically do is take about 2 of these meatballs, 2 or 3 depending on how hungry I am. Have it with a side salad. You can also put some kind of, low carb noodles or whatever you want with it, but I personally don't need to do that. I just like to pair it with a salad and just eat a couple meatballs on the side. And you guys will see that later in the week when I do my what I eat in a day video. And that is this week's meal prep. As always, you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my video. Apologies for not being able to have the Weight Watchers points on here. Could not get that app to work, but at least we got the carbs and the protein and the calories on here. Hopefully that app starts working later in the week and I can get it downloaded again. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.